What's up, Ultimates? In this video, we'll be talking about sideline starts in Hex. I'll show a few examples of common defensive setups and share how I think throwers and receivers should decide where to look and cut in these situations. Most of the footage in this video is pulled from a sideline start drill, where offense only needed to complete 2 passes, and our drill was 2 players short of 7v7, so we left the far side wing position vacant. Here's the most basic scenario. White is on offense. Dark sets up a standard sideline trap mark with honest downfield defense, where both deep defenders are backing their assignments on the open side. There are 2 principles that teams playing Hex should generally follow when they are static on the sideline. The first is to have the deeps be the first look, with the near side deep typically initiating. This is because of all the receivers connected to the thrower, the deep has the most threatening space to cut in. They can attack the deep, open side under, and break side under spaces. It's very hard for a single defender to cover all 3 of these spaces. The second principle is to take what the defense gives you. This applies to both the receivers as well as the person holding the disc. The thrower and his connected receiver should observe the position of the mark and the receiver defender and take the easiest option for both offensive players. In this case, the mark is slightly no around, giving the thrower a big inside lane. The near side deep notices this and the fact that his defender is backing him, identifying an under route that moves him away from the sideline and also allows for a comfortable inside throw that doesn't require breaking the mark. Upon catching the disc, Christian turns outward to look downfield where there are no teammates to pass to. Instead, he should maintain connection with Steven for a moment to see if a return pass is viable before turning inward to continue flow toward the center of the field. This is the exact same situation, except this time Dark is on offense and the mark is straight up. Both deep defenders are still playing honest and forcing their assignments under. Once again, the thrower sees the space that the mark is giving him, and the near side deep adjusts his cut to give the thrower a wider throwing angle, which also puts him closer to the middle of the field upon catching the disc. This time, the receiver turns inwards and finds a very effective pop pass to continue flow. In this clip, Dark is still on offense with his sideline trap mark. This time, the near side deep is being forced out by his defender. The deep and thrower recognize the unguarded deep space, and both players immediately start throwing/cutting to the space as soon as the disc is tapped in. As long as the deeps are well spaced and the far side deep defender is playing honest until the throw goes up, there is a low chance of him being able to help defend the huck. Upon catching the away pass, the receiver should immediately turn inward to face behind him and find a teammate to connect with. In this case, the receiver just forgot we were playing with one continuation throw. In this clip, White is on offense, and the downfield defense is initially set up in the same way. But as soon as the disc is tapped in, the far side deep's defender poaches off his person, anticipating the huck to the near side deep. Since the thrower's vision starts by facing downfield, he can easily see the poach and punish it. Here's a similar situation, but Dark is on offense and the mark is straight up. The thrower and poached player once again find the wide open space. It's important that the hat gives the deep space by not drifting downfield or getting too close to the thrower before the thrower looks off his downfield options and engages the hat. Switching back to white on offense, this time the mark and downfield defenders are positioned in such a way that there are no easy passes to the deeps. With no obvious downfield options, the thrower simply looks at the hat, who should be the next connected teammate the thrower sees as he turns. And the players easily connect on an around backhand, which a defense is giving them. Elvis does a good job of not angling his cut toward the sideline so that he catches the disc toward the middle of the field. The near side handler is also positioned far enough back to give Elvis space to cut into. The next two clips show examples of what could go wrong when the principles aren't followed. This is from an earlier practice where we experimented with throwers looking at the hat to start. There are a couple issues with this approach, the main one being that in the starting shape, the positioning of the near side deep and handler draws their defenders dangerously close to where the hat wants to cut if the mark is trapping sideline. This often results in the hat receiving the disc backfield with their momentum going toward the sideline and away from the rest of his teammates. It's really hard to gain momentum back in the right direction off of this pass. In this case, they only have a shot at doing so after throwing another backwards pass, and they never get the disc off the sideline. In this example, the thrower looks at the far side wing due to the straight up force, which is the right decision at first. The far side deep decides to challenge his defender with an away cut, and the thrower immediately tries to throw around his mark to hit a closely guarded crossfield huck. Instead, the thrower should look for cuts from the connected deep, hat, or handler more towards the center of the field, where he doesn't have to break his mark. Lastly, it is fine to take your time as a thrower when the disc is static. Here are two examples where the thrower is rewarded for giving the deeps another look when the first cut is stopped and the mark is giving the thrower space to throw downfield. As you can see, the isolated nature of the two deeps makes guarding both players from multiple looks very challenging, even when a bracket is set up. There are many more situations that can happen on the sideline, but hopefully these two rules can help simplify the decision-making process when you're on the sideline. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the flippity flop.